She wants me to, you need to focus. You need to focus. All right. What's up, y'all? John Melton coming to you live with mylifestyleacademy.com. And we're excited because we're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the places. And I've got a freaking rock star on here today. Angie Lee in the house. Drop it to the comments if you know Angie Lee, if you follow her, you've seen her content, you've seen her videos, her stuff. She's been body slamming it for quite some time. And, you know, it's amazing because I think a lot of us can appreciate the fact that we're all online entrepreneurs. We're all in network marketing, or we're marketing ourselves. We're building a personal brand. But there are individuals out there that have actually been doing this for quite some time, that have gone out and monetized in a big, big way, created multiple streams of income. And Angie Lee is one of those individuals. She has an incredible story. So I'm excited to have her on. What's up, Angie Lee? How you doing?
Hello. I'm so excited. This is so cool that this is streaming on all the platforms, but it doesn't do Instagram Live, right?
It does not do Instagram.
It's too. That would be so cool.
I know. Concur. You know what we normally will do with Instagram if we're in different rooms? We'll have our Instagram on another phone recording the screen. So
yeah. Super cool. Well, I love it.
Instagram needs to step it up. But yeah, very cool. We're excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Yeah, I feel like it's such a crazy time with what's going on, but I find that it's actually, and maybe I'm an eternal optimist, which is good and bad, right? But I feel like this time, whether we like it or not, is really going to strengthen us as entrepreneurs. Yeah. And it's going to require that we're more creative and we're more resourceful than we've ever been, because the last 10 years has been really cushy. The economy has been fantastic. Our businesses have all soared. And so now for the first time, I actually had to say, okay, are we going to pivot? What are we going to change? What are we going to do? Are we going to change anything? I mean, it was an interesting conversation that I was avoiding for most of my career, and now I have the opportunity to have that conversation, right? So I actually think a lot of good things will come out of this after it passes.
Yeah, you get to find out what you're made of, that's for sure. When you're stuck at home, you got to pivot in your business. And, you know, I think for a lot of us, you know, obviously it's nice to have an online business. It makes you appreciate what you have. But at the same time, I think some of us have to get used to a new routine. Some people are getting laid off work, or they got to do the whole homeschooling thing, which can be a whole new challenge in itself. So I know a lot of people are having to adjust. And maybe you could first off start off with your story, because you've been an online marketer for quite some time. I think I read somewhere or heard somewhere you started when you were like 19 with a blog.
Yeah.
Which was like, that was over 10 years ago, right?
I just turned 30, so yeah.
30.
Crazy.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. I'm not
the dirty 30.
I don't want to hit it yet. I'm still 24. I'm fine. But yeah, I was in my college dorm room, and long story short, I was a typical entrepreneur lemonade stand when I was little. So of course I hated school. Like, school and me never went well. They would call my parents, be like, Angie's sweet, she's very social, but she doesn't want to go to class. She won't do her homework. Like, that is just, that is me in a nutshell. So I'm in college. And I'm
by the way, did you feel like you were like an outcast or like a rebel, a loser?
Always.
Because that's how I felt too. It's like, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I want to study and do homework? Like, there must be a problem. And then you realize later, you're like, oh, that's actually normal for entrepreneurs to not like school. Yeah.
Oh, always. I remember being like 8 years old, telling my mom, I would come home from school, I'd walk home from the bus stop and say, Mom, like, get me out of jail. Like, this is jail. Yeah. You stand in lines. You all do the same thing. You do the same thing every day. They tell you what to do. You respond to these whistles and bells. I'm like, this is jail. And she'd be like, whoa. She's probably like, this girl's smarter than she should be right now. So I just never loved the system, and I didn't love traditional education. So of course, I'm 19 years old. I would start listening to podcasts before podcasts were cool. And I started creating content. Now at the time, I didn't know I was content creating. I just was sharing blogs about health, fitness, wellness. I would talk about the smoothies I was making in my dorm room, and I didn't go to class. And if I did, I was creating content. And long story short, you guys probably know where this story is going. I stayed really consistent for 10 years. And over time, built an audience bigger than just my mom and my roommate reading the blog. And it started to grow. And I was like, what is this? This is crazy. People from around the world are reading my shit. Like, they wanted to, like, this is crazy. This is so cool. And so then I started becoming obsessed with digital marketing. And I started Googling, what is digital marketing? How do people make money online? What's a funnel? How do you set up a website? What is a website? Like, I didn't know any of this. I just figured out what a funnel was even 5-6 years ago, because I did everything organically, just showing up, being myself, and promoting stuff. And so I started to study it and I became obsessed. I listened to every podcast, watched every YouTube video on these old school digital marketers. And I was like, this is it. This is the way the economy is gonna be. People are going to buy things online. People are going to learn online. This is the future. I'm not going to a corporate job. I'm going to sell stuff online. And so I became obsessed and started selling ebooks, coaching, courses, group coaching. I started selling whatever it was I could as an expert, as a health and wellness coach. And, you know, I always remember that moment where I made my first $60. And you guys, I was like 21 years old. So $60 in a day when you're 21 and you're $100,000 in debt from school, you're like, I'm set for life. I remember being like, okay, mom, it's fine. I got this. I made $60 in an hour. I'm fine. So this random stranger, I'll always remember, she bought my ebook. I remember the PayPal alert coming in. I saw it on my phone, like a little, you know, flip phone 4 or whatever it was then. And I remember looking at it thinking like, oh my God, if I could get one person to do this, I could get thousands of people to do this. Oh my God. And that literally was the moment. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to figure out how to not have a job where I have to go in, wear pants, you know, listen to a boss, be in a cubicle. I'm going to make money online. And of course, health and wellness then transitioned into people reaching out and saying, how to do that? And then I started teaching the marketing of it under the table, kind of just on the side for a few women. And then the next thing you know, I was like, wow, why doesn't this exist? Why is there not a B school for wellness coaches? Yeah. So I created that. And after a few years selling that and being done with that, now I do marketing for small business owners in general. I would say a lot of them are health and wellness, but a lot of them are not. And a lot of them are network marketers. A ton of them are network marketers. So that's really what happened, is this evolution of me starting this blog in college because I didn't want to go to school. And now I own a CBD line. I have events. I'm coming out with a book. I have a podcast. I have courses. I kind of do things in all different spaces.
Yeah. I think I saw somewhere that it's your brother and you that started the CBD together. CBD?
Yeah. So,
that's so cool. And he's like a boxer, right? Professional boxer.
Yeah, he was like top 5 in the world. And he was in a lot of pain, and CBD is amazing for pain, inflammation, anxiety. And he came to me and he said, we should start a business on this. And then I started using it for just us, you know, us entrepreneurs. We deal with stress, and I loved it. And I'm very firm on like natural, holistic living. And so I told him, let's do this. And now we're 2.5 years in, and it's blown up. We have a multi-7-figure wellness brand that we built from purely influencer marketing, Instagram, and mostly social. Like,
so is Instagram still your number one?
It really is. You know, for majority of the first few years, it was Facebook, a lot of Facebook Live, Facebook groups. And then I went into Instagram. I love the functionality of Instagram. I love it's so intimate with the DMs, stories, pictures, IGTV. I love the platform. It's by far my favorite one. And it's where I drive a lot of my organic traffic then to email list, website, podcast, all of those places. So it's kind of like my funnel. And it's where I love to engage with people. I love answering the DMs and getting to know my people. And that's where I spend a lot of my time. And so, even for Soul, I told him, I said, listen, before we can run ads, even if we can in CBD, let's double down on affiliate marketing and influencer marketing with CBD. So we found women who loved it. They shared with their tribe. And the next thing you know, it blew up, which is super cool. So as you guys can tell listening, I'm such a big fan of creating tribe. I'm such a big fan of building a community and building your brand and putting that first, because once you put that first, then you can do whatever you want online. You can have a physical product, you can have live events, you can have a show, you can do whatever you want.
Right. And I like how you diversified also. You know, that was so at first for us, we started out with mostly putting out videos on Facebook. And I thought I was going to be a vlogger. And I remember I started like just uploading these little 1-minute videos. I think the first day I did like 5 1-minute videos. I'm like, man, I'm vlogging. I had no idea what I was talking about or doing. But my whole mindset was I wanted to generate leads. I wanted to build a community. I didn't want to have to continue to find people. Like, you know, where's the people? Let me go walk around the mall and, 3-foot rule it and all these old school methods that work. I tell people, they're like, hey, you're always knocking home meetings and home parties and offline. And I'm like, it's because I did it for so many years and I hated it. Like I didn't enjoy that process, but putting out content, providing value, building authentic relationships, and just being patient. I mean, that's really the game, right? It's showing up every day. And I'm sure you've gotten accused of being a natural or an overnight success. You've got all these income streams. What people don't know is the grind. They don't know the full story. They're comparing their chapter 2 to your chapter 10, and they don't realize how much time and effort it takes. And I'm assuming you're like most entrepreneurs, where there was probably times where you didn't know if you were going to make it. You didn't know if it was going to become a business for you, but you just kept going and made it more about the relationships and helping people. So maybe you could talk a little bit about what that looks like as far as, building a community, building a tribe. Today there's a lot of social media noise, right? There's a lot of social media platforms. And I know some people, they get a little stuck in the conversation around building a brand and marketing themselves. What is your opinion of what that looks like and how someone can start showing up online? And by the way, would you also recommend Instagram if somebody's really trying to hit it hard, or do you have another platform you're recommending as well?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the combination of where your people are hanging out. Of course, that's the most important thing, right? I do this for them, not for me. But then it's also where will you be consistent, right? Where do you think that you'll be able to be intimate with people? And I argue all of you should be on a platform that has some sort of video aspect. Instagram has IGTV, IG Live, and Stories. Those are all three micro video aspects of the app. YouTube, obviously that is all video. Facebook Live, which I think we're obviously on right now, is a video aspect of Facebook.
We're live everywhere, baby. Yeah.
We're everywhere around the world, you guys. The whole planet. But yeah, it's interesting because in 2020, and we were saying this in 2016, 2017, but now more than ever in 2020, when there's so much noise and everybody and their grandma Susan wants to be an influencer,
Right.
I really believe that you have to have some sort of video element because people buy from humans and they have to get to know you. I truly believe I was able to sell out my live event with 1,500 women with 0 paid ads in a few months because of video. And they know me, they trust me, they like me, they feel like I am who I am when I'm off video, and I have that authenticity. And that authenticity is so, like, that authenticity is the secret sauce. And it's so much easier to be that person when you have video. So I highly suggest all of you, there has to be a video element to your brand. Even if you love writing, you're a great writer, adding in a little bit of video here and there just so people can get to know you and trust you and like you. And yeah, it's funny that you said the diversified income, because I didn't intentionally do that for times like this. I did it because I'm a 7 on the Enneagram and I get bored easily. So I like doing a lot of stuff.
Same.
Now I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so smart to diversify. But keep in mind, you guys, you have to make sure that it's not all overnight. I think a lot of people see like, wow, you're in all these different business models. I have a membership site, live event, podcast, book coming out, physical product in the DTC space. I mean, those are all very, very different, but they're
also aligned.
Steps. What do you say?
They're also aligned with each other too. It's not like,
I feel like they kind of are, but then, you tell some people, they're like, wow, that's a lot of different things. And they're all kind of their own baby, like their own kid in a sense. But like motherhood, I assume, I'm not a mom yet, but you don't want 3 kids at once, right? Like that would suck.
Exactly.
This is horrible.
Spread it out.
Spread them out, guys. So I always tell people, like, go start with one thing and become the best at it. Niche down, become awesome at one thing, and then slowly expand and go wide. But start narrow and then add on these different platforms and add on these different elements. But you guys don't expect to launch 15 different things and a membership site and a course and a live event and a podcast. If you do that all at once, you're not going to do any of it.
Well, what would be your advice if somebody's trying to build a brand?
Yeah.
I know what we teach, but if somebody's trying to figure out what's my brand, what do you typically teach someone? Because that's a constant question, right? Like, I don't know what my brand is. I don't know what to talk about in my videos. Yeah.
I call this your profitable purpose. And because there's a lot of things in life that we like, and maybe you guys like to, make socks with cat memes on them. I don't know, but nobody wants them. So then, there has to be a demand in the market. So I always say it's the intersection between what you love. Obviously, you do need to enjoy it. What the market will pay for, what's actually in demand. And number 3, what you have skills in and what you can get results in. I think a lot of times I've coached thousands of women out in the online space, and what they do is they forget number 2, which is the market. They forget that it has to be something the market actually wants and needs. It has to pass what I call the Google test versus like, oh, I'm just going to pull this idea out of my butt and it seems like a good idea, but it's not actually something that people want or need. And so they're finding it very difficult to sell. So it has to be the intersection of those 3. So for me, I give them exercises like, okay, is it something people are Googling solutions to? Like, do they want help with this? Is it relevant right now? Is it something you're good at and can get results in, or you're committed to getting results in? And yes, I want you to love it, but you've probably seen this corny quote on Pinterest. It's like, do what you love and the money will follow. And yes, but
Maybe.
like Gary V, like that's great and all, but you also need to see, is that something people are actually looking for? Like, let's meet realism with this cute Pinterest quote. And women don't want to hear that. But the minute I do that with them, immediately they find a business that actually fits that intersection and they start making money. Before they were like, well, I love just empowering women to be their best selves. I'm like, in what? What does that mean? What does that mean? So helping them get really focused on the tangible thing they do. And then, gosh, like you said, brand building is everything, you guys. I've really organically now mastered this, but in the beginning, I teach women to actually have a strategy behind this. But I think it's the beautiful blend of friend and teacher. And this is what I teach for IG stories. This is what I teach for all the platforms. This could be for the podcasters, the YouTubers. I think people want to learn from their friend that they love and they trust, but they also look up to. And so I'm constantly vacillating between I'm your friend, I'm your teacher. I'm your funny, weird friend, I'm your teacher. And I just keep going back and forth with those two. And that's what's built a really strong brand where women feel like I'm their best friend who they can trust with business and with what they're looking to learn. So
what's your favorite? I know you can't say like your favorite kid, but which business do you find that like you're like that's my jam? Like, is it the live events? Is it writing? You said you're writing a book, right? Is it maybe the podcast? And I know again that might not be a business per se, but like, what's the thing that you love doing? The CBD, like what's the one that gets you the most?
You know, it's interesting. It's changed and it's evolved, right? When I started in the online world, I thought it was coaching. And what I've realized is there's a difference between being a coach, a teacher, an influencer, a creator. These are actually different. There is some overlap and you can be two of them or three of them. But I've really noticed as I'm getting older and as I'm growing with this, like, what do I really want to do with all of this? And I've realized I truly love, honestly, my live event podcast and creating content the most because at my core, people call me a business coach. I don't see myself actually as a coach. I'm a teacher and I'm a creator, but I don't love coaching necessarily, like one-on-one, like tell me about your problems, Deborah, and let's go through them and high ticket stuff. That's not really my jam. I know there are people where that is their expertise. I've realized I just love creating content. So to be honest, I'd be a great just full-time YouTuber or someone who just loves to create really fun content, but also I'd love to add the edge of being a teacher. So for me, like IG stories, connecting with people, being weird, like doing weird, like we were talking about TikTok and skits like that. I love being creative. So my event is an outlet for that. My podcast is an outlet for that. I don't love being a CEO and an entrepreneur as much, I've realized. So that's where I've noticed, like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And you guys will notice that, like, there are people who want to be creatives, but it doesn't mean they want to run a company. It's very different. I don't run Soul CBD. I'm not the CEO. I'm not the COO. I'm one of the co-founders, but I definitely am not running that huge thing. And I think women think I am. And I'm like, no, you guys, the role of a CEO is like sitting in spreadsheets all day. I'm the one making the videos. I'm the creator. So once you realize all these different roles, you realize like, wow, they're so different. They're so different, right?
Yeah. Well, especially when I mean,
are you more of like the CEO or are you a creator?
Well, and that's part of the thing, right? You start going out there and showing up in the marketplace, you're building your business, you're doing the thing every day. And how many of us can relate to this? I know we got a ton of people on right now. How many of us can relate to the fact that you figure out real quick what you enjoy doing and you figure out real quick what you don't enjoy doing quite as much. You're like, hey, that's not bad, but it's like not my thing. I'd rather not do it, right? Like for me, I love building my network marketing business. You know, I'm in the trenches with my team. I still enroll people all the time. I'm connecting with people. Like I live in Facebook Messenger. But Nadia, that's not her thing. She wants to, you know, run the virtual team, focus on our brand, monetization, all the stuff on the back end on that side of things. That's what she loves doing. And it helps when you have partners, right? You have people that, you know, you can work with, but they have their strengths. They have the things they love doing, and you get that clarity over time. And in the beginning, you kind of have to like play with different strategies, play with different social media platforms, right? Test out different businesses. At some point, you got to make a decision like, all right, this is the one I'm going to run with. This is the social platform I'm going to spend the majority of my time on. Maybe down the road, I'll diversify. Maybe down the road, I'll open up a TikTok. How many of y'all are TikToking? Let me know in the comments. Did you say you are TikToking or you've been?
Not yet.
Not yet. So you're one of those. You're one of those skeptics. I get it.
Yeah. Well, I know that it's like what I would be great. All my friends are like, dude, TikTok was made for you. Why are you not doing it? I'm like, that's why I'm not, because I know So once I'm in,
you're gonna get addicted.
everything else is gone. So I don't know. I think I love what you said, because I'm like you. I love actually being in my inbox. I love chatting with my girls. I'm a community builder. That's what I do really well. So that's why events are easier for me to sell out, because I love community, where someone else might be like, dude, I don't want to be in my inbox talking to them. I want to do the back end of the business and create the videos, and
Right.
everybody is different. But the more you dive into entrepreneurship, you find out what you love, and you find that sweet spot of what you love, what you're good at, and what you can get people results in. But you guys won't know that until you jump in, right? So for all of you guys watching, you got to get messy. You have to be willing to try a few different business models to figure out which one's best for you. Because I can tell you right now what's good for me, but your personality might be completely different than mine or John's. So you have to just keep playing with it.
Right. Amen. So tell me about your event. So you said 1,500 people at your event. How many events have you done? And is it an annual thing? Is it a 3-day event? What's the dealio with that?
Yeah, it's 2.5 days. It's going to be 3 eventually. That was my second year last October in San Diego. This August was supposed to be 3,000 women in Chicago at a stadium. So now it's like really blowing up, but because of Corona, we're going to move it a little bit into 2021, which I'm really sad about. But yeah, I love it. I love it. I love, like, I found a hole in the market. That's kind of my thing, is like, I love finding the holes in the market. And I feel like a lot of business events are very strategy left brain. And then there are the female empowerment events that are like, let's all just hug and, you know, cry together in a sister circle. And I was like, why is there not a fun business event for women that is like exciting, weird, fun dance parties? Like Tony Robbins needs like a business dance party for women. And that's what I created. So that's Pays to Be Brave. I forgot. I didn't even say the name of it. But yeah, so it's fun. It's awesome. It's a lot of work though.
The name of the event, Pays to Be Great. I like that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's called Pays to Be Great. So it's super fun. This is my 3rd year going into it. And yeah, I love it. It's a lot of work. It's probably the hardest thing I do in my business, but that weekend it's the most fulfilling, but it's definitely the most difficult out of everything. Like after you've done courses and physical products and all of that, I've realized, I'm like, oh my God, an event is just a different animal. It is a different beast. It's like, wow.
You know, it's we were going to do our own live event last year. And for that exact reason, everybody's like, man, you'll be lucky if you make money on your first event. And I'm like, that doesn't excite me to do something that I might get lucky if we make money, you know, but I was like, I would love to do a live event. But what we ended up doing is a virtual event. And it was amazing. It was kick-ass. And we had 500, 600 people from like literally all over the world. And then we did it again this year. And if it would have been a live event, like an actual event, like a destination event, we would have had to cancel it. But luckily it was virtual again, and we were able to still move forward with it. But it's incredible. Events are, I mean, for me in my early years, I was a complete punk. I was always getting in trouble. I was partying all the time. Events, that's what I needed. I didn't know I needed it. Obviously, you don't know you need the personal development. You're like, like, do I really need to read these books and listen to all these speakers? Like, whatever, just show me how to make money. And then you realize like, oh yeah, I do need to work on my integrity. Oh yeah, I do need to work on my communication. I do need to be a better leader. Like you start realizing all of this. So I'd love to know from you, because it doesn't sound like you ever did network marketing, right?
I did actually.
Okay, so you did do some network marketing. Okay.
Yes, I did. When I was 19 to 21, I crushed it in a wellness brand. I actually ranked up really high and I loved it. And it was one of what I call the gateway drugs to entrepreneurship for sure. I learned so many great skills such as networking and pitching and selling. And yeah, when I was younger, I did that. I didn't know what it was really then, but now I'm like, oh, it was a network marketing company.
Oh, that's great. Which company was it?
Yeah. Do you know USANA?
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've been around a long time. So you did it for you did it for 2 years, and then that gave you the entrepreneurial bug. So that's what I was going to ask you, like starting out, what was your inspiration? Did you find like a mentor? Was it an event you went to? And maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was network marketing. I love hearing that, because there's so many very influential networkers, business owners, people that have gone out and had success in life. And it started out network marketing. So I love hearing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was one of the bugs. I was like, oh, wow, I love sales. I love sharing things I love. I'm a natural sharer. So this is such an easy thing for me. I get to literally be paid to share what I love, which is awesome. So I was like, oh, this is great. And I would receive commissions. And again, I was super in debt when I started. So I was like, this is such a fun way to figure that out and play with that. But Yeah, I think it was a combination of that plus probably one of my first Tony Robbins events that, you know, I sold a card because I was broke and I was 20 years old and I wanted to sit front row at Tony Robbins. And I was like, oh my God, I have to go. I've been listening to him in the car since I was a little girl. Like, this is going to be it. And I walked in and within a few minutes, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is so good. And I literally like got this calling and I got like these chills in my body. And I remember telling my brother, I looked at him, I was 20 years old. So this is crazy. Obviously, this is like 8-9 years before Pays to Be Brave ever even happened. I said to him, I was like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. You see what's going on here? I'm going to do this. Like, this is what I was born to do. And I don't care how long it's going to take or how, but this is what I'm going to do. And that's creepy. Like then years later, now I've created one of the largest female personal development events, but like, I always kind of knew, like, that's what I was here to do. I'm like, oh, I'm going to create these badass events where people feel hopeful. Guys, like if you've never been to one or any like cool event, like the feeling in a room of like hope and excitement and energy, it cannot be transmitted through the computer or anything. It just can't. And so that to me was like, game over, let's do this. But like I mentioned, events are, yeah, they're a lot, you guys. And if you can make it where you're still happy and you made money where it's virtual, go virtual. Cause like, yeah, the overhead's like 300 grand for Pays to Be Brave for me. So that's not a joke. Like it's a crap load of money to put on. So if I have to, you know, figure that out with the team and really still be a smart businesswoman about this party that I'm hosting. But I'm very transparent with people about what it costs. I even tell my women just because I think they, you know, they need to know they're entrepreneurs and they think like, oh, you just order some balloons and you get a DJ, but it's like, you know, it's not really like that. I wish it was. So it's a lot.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot involved. And that was our big objection. I was like, man, it's not, and you know, it's not just the financial investment, it's all the work, making sure there's so many moving parts. So yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing that you've got, so that was your third event. It would have been 3,000 people. And obviously with the whole virus, it totally makes sense to postpone it, but that's incredible. Like I know people that have been doing events for years and years and years, and they don't even get, you know, 3,000 people, or even, I don't even know if a lot of them get 1,000. So that's extremely impressive. But that also shows that your events are impactful. They're going viral. People are promoting them. They're saying, hey, next year I'm going to bring some friends with me. And that's really what it's all about. And I think that's why Tony's events continue to sell out. We went to his business mastery last year. And that was the first full-blown Tony event we've been to. And first of all, it's like 50 degrees in Florida. So you're in Florida for the event, where it's nice and hot outside, but inside it's like 50 degrees. So you're wearing gloves and, you know, mask, scarf. I mean, it's intense, but that was the best event we've been to. I mean, it blew our minds. And I don't know if you've been to his business events. I'm assuming maybe you have, but
no, I've been to Date with Destiny and UPW a lot, but I've not been to.
You should do the business one. Yeah,
I know.
It is intense. And there's so many successful people there, but then there's people just starting off. And it was funny because he was saying how intimate it was. And there's like 2,500 people.
You're like, this is not
it's like $7,000 tickets. It's 25. I'm like, how are there so many humans here? I'm like, these tickets were not cheap. So yeah, it was.
What were the tickets?
7,000.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, but it's a
5-day event. And he goes over everything. I mean, it really helped us with some of our back end stuff, helped us with our investments, just, you know, the way we look at things. I mean, it was really, really good. And I'm curious how his business is going to be impacted by this, because that is his wheelhouse. I mean, it's live events. He does them all the time. It's probably good for him to take a little break from it. But I mean, that's his wheelhouse, right? I mean, those UPW, what was the other one? What's the real thame?
Date with Destiny,
right? I mean, the business mastery. I mean, he's got an event like every month all over the world.
Yeah, one of my good girlfriends is his main sales speaker, like on their team. And so I talked to her a lot about like, what is he saying? What is he texting you? What's going on? And she's like, dude, I mean, his events department, they're kind of like freaking out, but they're like, this is life. We got to make them virtual or we got to figure it out. We got to pivot. And then the minute it's open again, they'll be fine. But to be honest, like, I mean, I'm not worried about him. I know he has, that's the least of his, the least of his profitable businesses. That guy's making millions off of investments or other stuff. But at the same time, it's true. That's his funnel. Like live events are his funnel. And when this all happened, you guys, I was actually super grateful. And I hope this is a reminder for all of you to go digital. Like there was a moment where, you know, I was a little bit scared in the beginning. And I said to like Clay and my family, I was like, wow, this is crazy that majority of my income came from online, thank goodness, from ads from the show, sponsors, digital courses, affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing was largely my income last year. I mean, all these other different revenue sources digitally versus Pays to Be Brave. Yeah, I made money from it, but it's not like what I rely on. It's just like fun extra money because I love putting it on and it's fun. But it was a really cool moment that I was like, wow, whatever happens to the economy, I think this was a wake up call for me to make sure that all of these sources are really strong and to always actually make sure my digital maybe is the strongest, because you just never know when that kind of stuff will happen.
Right.
I mean, nobody knew. But.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't think there's really a way to prepare for something like this, but if anyone was prepared, it's online marketers, right? Anyone that can work from home, anyone that can make money from their computer. And, I was just messaging with someone earlier and I was saying, this does suck. Obviously, nobody's denying that, right? Especially the extroverts, right? Like Nadia and I, we love to travel. We love to be around people. We've got kids. So my son's in travel baseball. That's all shut down for right now. However, it's nice to take a pause. It's nice to reflect. It's nice just to chill and be at home. Some people say we're stuck at home. It's like, hey, you should reword that, rephrase that. You're safe at home, because there's a lot of people. We're actually doing donations right now for people on the front line and having people nominate, because it's those people. Thank God for them. But again, it does put things in perspective for sure. And I'm just super grateful that we have this capability to work from home and online, because if this would have happened just 10 years ago, right? If this would happen in 2010, like, I'm pretty sure I didn't even have a smartphone then. I think I got my first smartphone legit. I think I set up a Gmail account. In fact, I know I did. I set up a Gmail account when I got my first smartphone, and because my email is John Melton 2012. So that was just 8 years ago. I had a freaking flip phone 10 years ago. So if this would have happened 10 years ago, right? How many of us would have been in a much different place? And, as bad as this is, thank God we have technology. You and I can have this conversation right now, right? And project all over the world. And we couldn't have done this 10 years ago. So it stinks, but we also have to have some gratitude that it could be a lot worse. And if it would have happened 10 years ago, it could have been a lot harder for us to continue earning income. So it's,
that's what Gary Vee was saying. And I was like, oh my God, he's so right. Being so grateful that we literally have these, and that, man, I hope this is, and I'm not meaning it in a way to capitalize on it, but I do hope it wakes up women who were inspired to do it anyway, or men that wanted to, but maybe this is the time to start the online business. Like maybe this is really the nudge you needed to start the course, the coaching, the network marketing team, whatever it is. And I think, like, what a beautiful time. You're stuck inside, learn social media, learn how to use Instagram, learn how to go live, learn these things that maybe you didn't want to do, but now you're like, you know what? I need to go a little bit more digital. It breaks my heart for restaurant owners and these companies that weren't digital at all. But I think what's happening is they're realizing, wow, we needed to put more effort into our social media presence still as well. Full-time speakers. A lot of my friends are full-time speakers, literally did nothing else. Like literally full-time speakers. I'm talking every weekend they speak at a corporation. Now I'm a paid speaker, but it wasn't that wasn't all my income. Obviously that was just here and there, an event a month or two. So what's interesting is they now have said, wow, Angie, this has like really made me realize I needed some sort of course or book or something to sell online. I was literally relying on these companies to pay me. Wow. And now their income's gone. So think about speakers, like they're like, shit, that's all they had. So I really think it's a wake up call. Like, I think it's actually awesome. And it's going to make the world go even more digital. Like, we want more people on social. I want more women saying to me, hey, teach me how to make money from my Etsy business or my network marketing business. I'm like, let's go. Like this isn't the first time this is going to happen, Yeah,
I mean, our team literally in the last 48 hours has sold over $700,000 in product online. Now we do have a promotion happening right now, but still it's like, we're not skipping a beat. Now I know there are some businesses, like I have some friends that are in like travel MLMs. I could see that being a little bit of a challenge, but there's always ways to pivot, right? There's always opportunity and adversity. And I think ultimately, like even restaurants, right? A lot of them are doing the curbside pickup or delivery. I mean, there's ways to innovate. I'm actually loving our kids are doing homeschooling. So they're all in class together through Zoom, which is why Zoom's not working right now, right? Everybody's using it, but it's just super cool. Like they're here, they're at home. Their private school is 40 minutes away. So, they're always getting home super late, leaving super early in the morning. So we're really loving the fact that, number one, my son doesn't have freaking sports every night. So we get to do more as a family in the evening, dinners together, stuff like that. But like, dude, they're literally like right now, today, actually, I think it's over at this point, but all day today, they're just sitting at their desk, on Zoom in class.
It's so
And
cute.
it's super cool. But again, if this would happen 10 years ago, I don't know what they would have done. Conference calls. I mean, come on. There's no way it would have
They
worked.
should be watching us. This should be their school right now. Listen here, children.
There you go.
Quit school.
Well, you know, you were
Quit
talking
school.
about you were talking about how you hated school, and I was going to say because I hated it too. Like I loved the social aspect. I love partying, friends, all the social, the sports, all the things. I hated the studying and learning stuff that I didn't care about. Smash the heart button if you can relate to this conversation. But I'm always careful because I don't want my kids hearing me say how much I hated school, because then I got to be like, as soon as I get off this, I'm like, did you guys do your homework? You know, you better get good grades. Mom and dad are paying a lot of money for that private school. It's going
to be so hard when I'm I don't know what I'm going to do. To be honest, I'm going to be like half real with them because I'm like, no BS. I'm like, listen.
half real.
Or Becky, I'm going to be like, listen, do your homework maybe, but like when you're 30, you're not going to remember this. You're not going to remember this stupid quiz. Go outside and have fun. Go talk. Go start an online business. You're going to, like, I literally think it's going to be so hard for me to tell them to go to college. I mean, for sure college, but I get middle school and high school, social skills, math and reading. You need that stuff. But then past that, it's like, no, just teach them how to like be a good human, how to, do their taxes, how to like be at a restaurant, like just basic, what I call entrepreneur math. Like I sucked at math, but I sure as hell know math if I want to make money online now. So you learn as you go. And then you seem like someone like me where you hated school, but you probably love podcasts and you love Audible and you love learning, but you just want learning to be in the way you wanted to learn, which is not traditional schooling, which is so outdated. So yeah, I think by the time my kids are 10, 11, 12, whatever, which will be 10-ish years, whatever, whenever I get, they're going to be, the schooling system is going to be completely different. They're going to, I mean, especially with what's going on, I think somebody is going to launch an app or a program in the educational space that completely revolutionizes how children are learning. And I'm excited to see what happens. Yeah. Do you think that too?
I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I was, Nadia and I have been talking about, it'd be awesome if the kids could continue doing this, maybe like bi-weekly, like every other week. They get to, be at home. And I mean, there's so many things that could come out of this, so much innovation. And, ultimately, if the one thing that is challenging is I know there's some schools, someone pointed this out to me, a lot of the public, they may not be able to do this because you've got maybe don't have computers, or maybe they have a computer, but there's, 4 kids can't use one computer. So I guess there's definitely some aspects where the normal schooling will still have to be in place. But like you said, if someone innovates something, comes out with an app, and there's probably something out there now that I'm just unaware of, but having the ability to do some of your schooling from home or online, it's just, it's a different era. Technology gives you the ability to learn all the same information. And the crazy thing is a lot of the information they're learning, it's just memorizing stuff. That stupid stuff. Find on Google, man. Like Christina will ask me a question. My daughter, Christina, will say, I got to figure out this and this. I'm like, can't you just Google it? She's like, Dad, we're supposed to learn it in the book. And, and I hated reading. So like for me, again, it goes back to, that whole aspect of like read for, 40 minutes on this, one in this book I don't care about, right? It's like, everybody just be quiet. Read your chapters for the next 40 minutes. And it's like, dude, I would just take a nap, right? I just couldn't keep my eyes open because I didn't care. And then you go into network marketing and they're telling you how to make money. And you're like, what's that?
You're like, what? Yeah.
You repeat. Yeah.
They're like teaching you about like, what did George Washington eat the day before he died? Like these random stupid facts. And now in 2020, I'm like, that's funny, Mrs. Smith. I wish you would have taught me like, oh, I don't know, like taxes. Tell me about the real world. Tell me about, multiplication to sales. Like, I just wish they would have taught me real life math, real life history that I need to know.
Well, it's interesting. I remember I got a credit card when I'm 18 and lived at the beach for the summer, didn't pay my credit card bill. It was like $20 a month. It was like nothing. And I didn't pay it because nobody ever taught me about credit. My parents teach me, teachers don't. You learn all this other stuff. You're there 5 days a week for hours and hours and hours. And you couldn't teach me anything about credit, about mortgages, about money, about sales, right? Like teach me some basics. Anyway, we could go on a tangent about this.
I love it. They're all loving it in the chat. They're like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, dude. It's true. Speaking of truth.
Sucks webinar.
Right. So I would love for you, maybe just, wrapping it up. If somebody's, watching this, obviously they're inspired by what you've created. You've got multiple 7-figure businesses. You built this community, but you know the deal. So many people, they get analysis paralysis. They're riding the struggle bus. And I always want someone, when they're listening to my trainings or, interviews like this, to have like a takeaway or 2 or 3. What would you tell someone if it's like, all right, I'm ready to step it up. I'm at home anyway. Angie's speaking my language. You guys are absolutely saying what I'm thinking anyway. But now what? How do I stay inspired? How do I show up every day? Where do I take my content? Where should I focus? And I know you kind of touched on this with you got to kind of play with different platforms and you got to play with different conversations. But what would be that takeaway to share with someone that's in that place? Because I think a lot of people are in that place where they just feel a little stuck. They don't feel as motivated. They don't maybe have the energy that we have and the passion, but we're obsessed with what we do, but we've been doing it a while. So we've been on that struggle bus. What would be your conversation for those individuals?
Oh, I love this. Yeah. And of course, give yourself grace. I think right now we're putting so much pressure on people during this time too, but for you guys listening, know that, have grace too. I say work hard, but know when you're ready to do all of this, and when it feels good during what's going on in the world. Number 1 is finding your profitable purpose, which is your niche. And I think that is so important before you sell or do anything online. And that is, again, guys, the intersection between what you're great at, what you can get results in. Make sure it's something that you can get results in. And again, guys, this could literally be that you're a stay-at-home mom. You learned how to lose weight from home, at-home workouts. You figured it out yourself. You lost the last 10 pounds of baby weight, 20 pounds. And now you're going to teach other moms how to do the same. Awesome. You're an expert. You don't need a double master's in nutrition to know how to teach other moms to do that. So that's something you can get results in. You helped your neighbor. You helped your Aunt Susie. That's something that you can get results in. Number 2, you love it. You're passionate about it. And then number 3, the market actually has to want that. And yes, the market does want that. There are millions of moms out there who want to lose weight from home after they had a baby. Check, check, check. That's a profitable purpose. Okay, once you know that, now showing up on video, like we mentioned, being highly visible. You guys, if people don't know you exist, they can't buy from you. If people don't know you exist, they cannot buy from you. Marketing is about visibility. It's about communication and visibility. Speaking your customer's language, showing up. Speaking your customer's language, showing up. Show your face, speak their language. Show your face, speak their language. Do that over and over and over again for 50 years and you will be set. So being highly visible. And then, guys, my book coming out in the fall is called Ready as a Lie for a reason. And it's my greatest passion in this world is to remind people that the most successful people didn't know what they were doing and they didn't have all of the answers. And my best advice right now during this economy is finding a side hustle that you can do. Maybe it's online. There's so many of these random online jobs that you can do right now, tutoring, virtual assistant, whatever it may be, just to make money enough to pay the bills. And then in your free time, you're mastering these social platforms so you can start producing your first ebook, course, coaching program, whatever that may be. And so you're using that money to then funnel into the business, pay your bills. But on the side, you're building this passion that could potentially go full time, right? And you're never going to be ready. And honestly, it's like, do whatever you have to do to make the time to be able to play and to test things. Because part of Ready as a Lie is all about, like, you've got to be willing to try network marketing for a little bit. Try launching a course, try these things and see what are you really good at? What are your people responding to? And why I love mentioning being honest about having a side hustle while you're doing this is because that's what majority of entrepreneurs did in the online space, you guys. It's not like, see my 9-to-5 that made you multiple 6 figures and then you walk out and you just start making millions from your online business. No, the reality is a lot of people have a side hustle while they're building it. Super cool, super awesome. That's honestly what most people are doing. And then use that extra time to build the online business and really give things time to grow and be consistent, but don't be afraid to try shit and not be good at it. You might try coaching and you're not good at it, but then you're great at network marketing or vice versa. But you guys, Ready as a Lie, you won't know until you dive in and try something. And that's the best way to learn. And that's the best way to build confidence is to actually do the damn thing. So I can't encourage that enough. Yes, you can burn the boats if you want to. That's my personality. I told my boss, see you later, I'm out. And I was $100,000 in debt. That was not smart, but I didn't have children yet. And I didn't have these other things. So do what you have to do to pay the bills. And then in that spare time, crush it on social, start showing your face, be invisible, get on video, and be speaking about your profitable passion until you can come up with the offers around it. Guys, that's literally what I would do if I had to start over tomorrow.
I love it. That's so money. And the book name is Ready is a Lie.
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome.
Oh,
So make
yeah,
sure
you
you.
love it.
When is it launching?
August. Well, end of August, so early September.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. And where's the best place to follow you? YouTube. Your podcast is a top 100 podcast. You've got Instagram. Where's the best place if someone wanted to connect, wanted to follow you? What would you suggest they do?
Yeah, you guys can go to angielee.com or listen to the Angie Lee Show on iTunes. And then if you're watching this right now, head to Instagram, DM me, say what's up. I'm super weird. So if you want to be weird friends with me, we can be weirdos together. I like being Carol Baskin. If you love Tiger King, come over and tell me you like Tiger King.
Have you seen the Carol Baskin TikTok?
Oh yeah, your wife would be so happy. I got the stuff. I'm gonna do it. So get ready. That's gonna be my TikTok.
So you're gonna start TikToking.
Viral.
There you go. That's perfect.
Oh my gosh.
That's it.
I got the wig. I got the mug that says "Hey there, cats and kittens." I got the cheetah shirt. I am ready.
I love it. That's money. Now, is it a secret? Because you kind of whispered it. Was there?
Well, you guys are like the cool people on, so you guys go first in the chat box. But
She kind of was checking, right? She's like,
because this video has to go viral on TikTok. It's gonna be me being Carol Baskin, and I can't wait.
Perfect. That's perfect. That's the way to do it.
I'm just gonna go on TikTok for the Carol Baskin video, and then I'll probably just quit TikTok. But and then I'll figure out how to make $1 million on TikTok.
Well, you know what's going to happen. You're going to open up a TikTok, and Shalene's going to be getting you to dance.
She gives me shit on it when I was with her. She's like, "You should have TikTok." I'm like, "I don't know how to use it yet. I'm acting like I'm 90 years old." I'm like, "I don't understand how it works."
It is fun.
Is it confusing to you a little bit, the user interface?
Well, you know,
or is it just me?
Well, it's funny because it's like anything else, right? When you first start playing with something, you're like, nah, like that's not for me. I don't need to be on that. And look, keeping it 100, I don't make TikToks. That's not my thing. But I will absolutely hashtag obey. If Nadia says we're making a TikTok, I might like moan a little bit, a little moaning and groaning. And she's like, "Baby, we're doing this TikTok. It's going to be good." And like literally, you know, you said earlier how you're 24, right? Every time you have a birthday, you're 24. So her most viral video is her doing this little skit with the phone where it tells you how old you look. And it said she was 37. And she's like, "No, I'm 27 plus shipping and handling." And that video gets like tens of thousands of views every week. It's the most bizarre. It's almost 1 million views. And it's not the video you want to go viral, but that's TikTok. It's a strange platform, but it's
I love it. Oh my God, I'm gonna go watch that. But I found hers through Instagram. So a smart thing that you mentioned. You guys can film them on there and then put them onto IG if you're bigger on IG and then drive the traffic back and forth. But I think what's cool about it is it allows you to speed up and change this. Yeah, they have some cool functionality on there.
Here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing. This is what I tell people. I go, listen, it's the only platform. If I tell someone to show up on Instagram, they just open up an account, they ain't going viral. You start a YouTube channel, you start a podcast, all of that they're more mature platforms. So it'll take a lot longer to get traction. Doesn't mean you can't, doesn't mean you won't. It just means you got to be really talented, right? I think Gary Vee said one time, you either got to be the first or the best on any platform, depending on your niche, right? And with TikTok, it's still early on. They said at the social media marketing world thing we went to, 97% of marketers are not on TikTok. So it's still really early on, and half of them are over 35. So I don't make TikToks a lot, but I encourage my team to do it. And we've had people crush it over there. They're having most of their lead generation come from TikTok. A lot of their sales are coming from TikTok. And again, it's not just on TikTok, but they're taking those videos and posting them on Facebook, posting them on Instagram, and they're generating leads. And it's just a lot of the videos are a lot of fun. What's that, Nadia? It spills over to Instagram. She wanted to make sure I pointed that out. So anyway, we appreciate you. So much value.
Now you convinced me. Okay, guys.
There you go. That's it. That was the thing. Spills over to Instagram.
I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Oh, I have so many ideas though. I'm like, oh no, it's like too many. I'm like, shit.
It's so easy too, because you just go to the For You page. So when you log in, you're automatically on the For You page. And those are the videos that are the trending, the viral, or they're trying to see if it's viral. That's what they do. They put it on the For You page. And if it doesn't do real well right away, it just doesn't get a lot of traction. So that's why it's kind of random. And then the algorithm, I'm sure you've heard about it. I mean, you know, the AI is like, you know, the best AI algorithm out there, supposedly. So it pays attention to what you're watching, what you're liking, what you're commenting on, what you're rewatching, because, you know, it's only 15 seconds. So if you're watching it and you immediately scroll, they're like, oh, so they didn't like that type of video. But if they see you watching the same video 3, 4, 5 times, because you're just letting it repeat, automatically they're like, okay, more of these videos for this person. And then of course you're following certain accounts. So what's great is you can find out real quick what you're enjoying, and then you just save those videos. And I mean, it's literally the only platform where you're supposed to copy what's popular. That's how you go.
I want to start a trend though. I don't
There you
want
go. No, you can do that too. Absolutely.
I want to be a trend starter.
There you go. Trendsetter. I like it. I like it.
I have some ideas now. Shit. But see, again, but what I love is that it's 15 seconds. IG stories at 15 seconds. So I wouldn't be surprised if I like both of those, because they're very, very similar. The editing, engagement, music, speed it up, slow it down. So yeah, as someone who like loves stories and I do that all day, I see it as very similar. But again, I love that it's showing that consumers right now want fast, funny, short video content. So
there's too much negativity out there anyway, man. So that's a platform you can just show up and just have fun, be quirky, and you know, do all the thing. And you're so creative. Like, you'll kill it. You're going to kill it.
All right, guys, I'm off to do TikTok today.
There you go. Go do some TikToks. That's it. You're going to get addicted. All right, y'all, make sure you smash the heart button. Let Angie Lee know how much you appreciate her. Definitely go follow her on IG. Download her podcast if you haven't already. And we so appreciate you. You're amazing.
Bye, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone. Hasta luego.